I made a pact with my friends that we wouldn't drink.
Boom, Watch Fam. What is up, Watch Fam? I am Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop.
And I am Waldo. I wore the shirt today.
That's cool. I like that shirt.
Yeah, thanks. It's from
Where's
J.
it
Crew.
from?
J. Crew.
Every time I ask Michael looks like a very unassuming guy, you know, like in many ways we look the same, in other ways we look the opposite, you know?
Yeah.
Michael's clothing is so expensive. I'm like, dude, this is a great shirt. Dude, where can I get it? He's like, dude, it's from Momocatiaro. It's 7 month wait. And I was like, how much was it? He goes, oh, dude, it was like not that bad. It was $1,900. And I'm like, for a shirt?
And I'm like, it's dyed in a fermented fruit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, it's 30% milk. Like, okay.
Oh, it's hysterical.
You know, then he sends me the link. I'm like,
I'm like, order it. Buy it. You like it so
buy
much.
it, you rich guy.
Tough
Tough guy. Start goading me. Yeah. I buy it. I have to sell something.
Yeah, right. You're like, I guess I gotta just sell this watch.
Oh my god. Anyway, yes, if you guys aren't familiar with the series, Michael and I, we both run a company together. It's called Theo and Harris. Yeah. And Theo and Harris retails vintage watches. We have a Theo and Harris watch shop. Mm-hmm. And we also do, we have a media branch. And we create commercials for brands.
Yes, we do.
Omega's a big partner. Grand Seiko's a big partner. We have a lot of big, frankly. And then once a week, Michael and I just sit down and give you the news.
Yeah.
We just react to watch news.
Yeah. And soon to be some regular news, too.
Yes. How about today? Are we going to do some regular news today?
Do you know any regular news?
No, do you?
No.
No, Facebook.
I mean, we can talk about the debt ceiling. Is that what you guys want?
Boring!
I don't know. Just pay more money.
Yeah, right. Just print more.
Yes.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty big opinion of some people. No politics. No politics.
None.
I texted Michael last week. I said, people just love our banter. Why don't we talk about more than just watches? I mean, keep it, 85% watches, but still let's introduce some other content into other, easy, logical evolution, right? Like luxury consumer goods, whatever, whatever. If Kanye drops new shoes, we can giggle. It'd be funny.
Yeah.
Obviously, no politics, no nothing that's going to offend people because you guys are so easily offended. Oh my god. I could do a French accent and an Italian accent, and then I do a Puerto Rican accent, and everyone cries. Grow up. Next.
Okay, so the main topic of this video is why Rolex will never be as valuable as it used to be.
What does that even mean? Did you write that?
I did write that. Yeah, of course.
That's a tagline.
If you didn't write it, who wrote it?
Wait, if I'm doing your job.
Hold on. If I'm doing your job, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
I'll ask Christian. I'm like, I have a huge rig on. I'm like filming all this stuff, and I go, Christian, can you hold this lens? And
Meanwhile,
he goes,
I'm like literally in a lawn chair on set. I am tanning.
I say, can you just hold this lens real quick? I'll grab it in 2 seconds.
Yeah, of course, Mike, no problem. But hold on,
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, of course.
If I'm doing your job, what are you doing?
And then the best part is you put the lens on the ground and walk away.
Yeah, so true. I always do that too.
Today, Hamilton Far Cry, or Hamilton and Far Cry
that's
collaboration.
cool as shit, by the way.
Yes, it is.
We'll get into that.
That's genius marketing.
Frankly, this watch industry it's going places, if you guys haven't heard already.
Yes. Then Paul Newman's Rolex seen for the first time in the wild and maybe owned by something that you would not expect. Or maybe
you know
would.
What's funny? You just said, Paul Newman's Rolex seen for the first time in the wild. And yet it really was in a glass container at an event
with ridiculous shine.
That's like saying, rare, purple back gorilla seen for the first time in the wild, and it's in an enclosure.
It's in a zoo. Yeah. And then finally, I guess that's it because we have Sir Rolly today.
Yes, we if you guys aren't familiar, we used to do a series called Liquor Run where my dad and I sat down and talked about wine and watches, and we stopped for a lot of reasons. Mostly my dad was just busy, just busy folks. Yeah. But now we've reintroduced the series as a mini series within our lives. Yeah. So today's gonna be a long episode, and Rolly's coming back, and we're gonna be talking about a lot of French wines. We're gonna be telling stories about a friend of his who's a doctor who is hysterical. I love this guy to death.
And you know what happened today? Rolly went first. He's coming second on the film.
Yeah.
What happened today for me, though, was if we're at a stand-up venue, the main star went first, And then everybody was like, that was great. And then like the MC comes out and he's like, the opening act is, he's next. You can't leave.
So now you're up.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And the main guy killed it. That was Broly's best one ever today.
Broly killed it today, yeah.
So I was sitting there. I was like, that sucks.
This sucks.
It sucks. He's killing it. Anyways, though, on to watch news.
On to my underwhelming performance.
On to my underwhelming performance. You don't even understand the topic of this video.
Hit me with Hamilton.
Okay, so this is the Hamilton X Far Cry watch. It is a 42mm khaki automatic in titanium.
Right.
What do you think?
The watch itself, cool watch. Whatever. I mean,
Exactly.
Whatever. It's a cool watch. I would recommend it to a lot of people.
The point is how it was marketed and how it was made. First time ever. Well, not first time ever, but first time it was consciously done and promoted in such a way. So there's a video game called Far Cry 6. I don't play it, so I may be saying things wrong.
I haven't played Far Cry since Far Cry 4. So
You played Far Cry?
No.
I don't.
As
I looked into your eyes, I just started to fall in, and I was like, I'm going in the wrong way.
The last time I played a video game, I swear to God, was James Bond Nightfire.
Whoa.
I believe. Did you play video games?
Yeah. Well, I used to.
Did you play that game?
I played GoldenEye, which I'm probably sure is from the same era.
GoldenEye, I believe, is a little bit earlier.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, same era.
Yep.
I know because I wasn't as good at GoldenEye.
A little side note, really quick. You're going to be James Bond tomorrow.
I'm attending the James Bond like film
premiere, right?
Premiere, basically.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles with Omega. Omega being the partner. Of the film, one of the main sponsors, if not the main sponsor. I'm going alone. I'm going stag, but James Bond, I think, would go stag.
It's a shame you couldn't think of anyone else to bring.
You know what's funny is I thought through my entire list of close friends and associates.
You even wrote it down on the board that I see every day.
Yeah, I should show you the list.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh my God!
You're kidding.
I didn't even think to ask you.
Well, I'm probably busy. When is it? Tomorrow? I have work.
No, I didn't invite Michael because Michael's a very busy person. Turns out regular people can't take 3 days to go to Los Angeles in the middle of the week. I say to myself, why do you have so many conflicts? And they're like, it's a funny thing. It's a little thing called a job.
Oh.
Like,
Michael has one of those. Michael talks about his all the time. His boss. The marketing of this watch is what stands out. Because it's in a video game, and you see it in the video game. You always see the wrist view.
They reference it a lot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, something that when Michael and I produce a commercial for a brand, there are a lot of elements that go into it. But one of the obvious, but it's very obvious now that we're saying it, but no one else does it because they're stupid. But it's how does the subject, meaning like the main character in this commercial, logically check their wrist, right? How can we logically integrate this watch into it?
Yeah, right.
Right? And a lot of brands don't do it. Because if you're a floating camera alongside a walking person, that's one thing. But if we're actually trying to integrate it into the story, how do you do it?
Yeah, right.
And Hamilton did it flawlessly.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a war video game, you are constantly checking, in theory, your watch, your tools, your things.
Yep.
And they did it perfectly.
Yeah. I think it's brilliant.
To the point where when you are designing your character, you actually choose the watch.
That's insane.
Very smart.
Yeah.
More children will be aware of watches today than there were. You know what I mean? Like
even if you just play video games and you're not a watch person, you see a Hamilton out in the real world, you'll be like, "Oh, that's the Far Cry watch. That's pretty cool.
Exactly right.
I should get one." You know what I mean?
Right. When I used to play video games before Nightfire, I used to play basically almost exclusively soccer video games.
Okay.
And used to be able to customize the kit of your character all the time, and it was the cleats, it was the socks. Now, I know that Nike was involved in a lot of them, like they would do the cleats, but no other brands, right? But I remember like the Nike Mercurial Vapor. That was the cleat.
Yeah, right.
And my dad would basically never buy them for me because he thought I needed to be a better soccer player to have better cleats.
Okay,
that was
Dad.
his look. I said, "Dad, can I have the Nike Mercurial Vapors?" He said, "Right, those are the best cleats."
Right.
I was like, right, for the best players. I was like,
Dad, where are you going with this?
where are you going with this? And he goes, we wear Adidas.
Adidas.
Copa Mundial. Mm-hmm. Because those are for the old school players. You are at best an old school player. I was like, okay, thank you.
Paul Newman's Paul Newman.
Paul Newman's Paul Newman.
The funniest part is there's just like this dazzling light burst coming from all the pictures.
Yeah,
like
it's like perfect.
Just like even like that.
That's completely fake. That's bullshit.
It has to be, right? Like, why are they doing that?
Yeah, it looks like it's like Jesus on Easter. He is risen.
Yes, I saw that and I was like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
For you Sopranos fans, have you heard the good news? That's a Sopranos reference.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. By the way, Many Saints of Newark. What the? Although, gotta tell you, Uncle June was a sleazebag, garbage pail, frankly a bad guy.
Yeah.
From day one. So honestly, the whole thing made sense.
Okay, so this was the first time the watch was seen since it was purchased. How many years ago?
2017, so almost 5 years ago.
For $17.752 milli.
Yeah, $18 million.
It's showing itself, and the big twist, the big important thing, was a little note at the bottom that says private collection, and then made available thanks to the support of Rolex. So a lot of people were saying, oh, that's weird. It seems like maybe Rolex bought it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've heard a lot of conflicting, personal stories about who bought this watch. I don't know who bought the watch.
Yeah.
I heard people swear to me that it was a Hong Kong buyer, private. I know him, blah, 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 blah.
It's my cousin.
Yeah, I heard people swear to me that Rolex bought it. I don't know. I don't care. It means almost nothing to me.
Yeah.
But as far as, what we can actually deduce from those words, made possible by Rolex doesn't mean Rolex owns it.
Right.
Rolex could have paid the owner, right?
Interesting.
Fee, right?
Yep.
And then and Rolex said, okay, so we'll give you, I don't know, $500,000. Mm-hmm. Or okay, but let's say Rolex said, we'll give you $5 million, okay, for us to be able to show this watch 10 times over the next 5 years. Or whatever. 50 times. It doesn't really
Yeah, whatever.
But now, for the 10 in exchange, the watch goes, and we also get to say it, that it was us. So people love to jump the gun here.
Rolex bought it.
Jump the gun.
Yeah.
But I don't jump the gun.
You never have. You'd rather get shot.
I'd rather get shot. I'd rather get shot than jump the gun.
Yeah, right.
I was there. Were you there?
Yeah. I actually was the guy with the gavel.
You were Arl Box.
Yeah.
We should superimpose your face on.
Yeah.
You are Arl Box.
That's me, yeah.
He's a masterful auctioneer.
Thank you.
No. You're an idiot. A lot of Europeans learned English in a British accent. So true. And I don't care for it. I don't care for British accents.
Hot take. Did not know where we were going with this.
Yeah, no, it's exactly where I'm going with it.
You just don't like it?
Yeah, no, I don't care for it.
Oh, okay.
I think that the British accent to the American ear generally just it doesn't land well. And
really?
I have great
That's a
British
hot take.
friends.
That's a hot take.
Great British friends.
Yeah.
You guys know friends on Instagram. We've talked a million times. I love you guys, of course.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, when I hear a British voice, I just hear an air of superiority.
Wow.
That I don't care for, and I feel like you're not fun. And they're just so caught up in like social norms and like these weird I'm all about being humble, but they can't even admit they beat around the bush about I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of a lot of Brits from a third part, as a third party. I love Brits when I get to know them.
Yeah, okay.
But every time I meet a new one,
yeah,
I'm like, nah, I have enough friends.
Can't wait to look at the stats of the UK. Start to just go.
No. Every British person that I've gotten to know, I've liked.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. I also get to know everyone that I know is like-minded, watch enthusiasts. So of course I like them. Of course.
Right.
But they've been very polite. But it's just my knee jerk is always like, you think you're better than me, pal? What do you think you're better than me? Because you come from a better neighborhood.
They're like, what?
You're richer.
What?
You got cleaner skin. That's how I feel.
Wow.
I feel like I'm like the little street rat.
Wow. Yeah.
The street rat that comes from a very nice family.
We won.
Yeah, right.
They're like,
well, I don't care. We're over it.
Yeah.
Frankly, we're over it. Shut up.
Anyways.
I like the Brits.
He does. Last topic before the big Rolls Royce comes out and just steamrolls.
Wait, watches first.
Oh, yeah, right.
All right, last topic before the big...
Hold on. I think we should do that one more time and a little bit different. I'll take this. You hop in. Last hour before the big Rolls Royce goes out.
So for those of you who don't know, I am the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop, and
Yes.
Michael and I are both wearing watches that are currently available in the Theo and Harris Watch Shop. Michael, what are you wearing?
I am wearing a 34 millimeter Rolex Oyster Date with a gold dial, which I really, really like.
I love when the gold dials are paired with non-two-tone watches.
Yes, same.
So cool.
I was photographing this today, and I photograph these watches all the time. It's tough for me to not see it as just another thing to move by. And I was like, this dial stands out a lot.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
beautiful.
Yep. So we have that one. We've got a silver dial, 34 millimeter right here.
Yep.
Lovely, lovely watch. And then we've got a two-tone, but now two-tone with the silver dial, which is odd.
Yep.
These are like the opposites.
Yeah, interesting.
And then I've got these are both 1600s, and then this is a 1600, just silver on steel and et cetera, et cetera.
Flat dial? Flat white dial?
Yeah, flat white, gorgeous
Big move.
stuff. The point that I wanted to drive home, with today's little mini vintage watch segment was vintage Rolex. And listen, forget about the crazy stuff. Even forget about the moderate stuff, right? I'm talking about entry-level vintage Rolex is still... I mean, I'll use the word undervalued because it is true, but I don't even look at that as the major selling point, right? These are just watches that carry the same level of quality that we find in 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 watches from Rolex, right? With the same name, the same heritage, the same oyster cases, the same bezels oftentimes, right? The same design, everything is the same.
Yeah, right.
And yet we can get a quote-unquote classic collection, meaning just these more quote-unquote dressy oysters. For a fraction of the price, under $5,000, under $10,000 for sure, but even under $5,000 in many instances. And I think the 34 millimeters fit incredibly well.
34 millimeters is probably the most underrated watch size I can think of, because I see so many people where they're like, I won't go below 38, and even in smaller crowd that's like, I won't touch 36, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense when you have a 7-inch wrist or a 6.5-inch wrist. Those look way better on your wrist.
I wear 34s all the time. I wear smaller than that. One of my personal Rolexes is 34. I love that size.
Yeah.
And 34 at different brands isn't the same thing as 34 at Rolex. 34 at Rolex has the oyster case, so it's beefier.
Yep.
I mean, it's beefy, especially when a watch is unpolished, like this is.
Yep.
Actually, all of these watches are unpolished.
Unreal.
Yeah, they're all unpolished.
Well.
Which is fantastic.
Hey, good job.
Good job.
Yeah, to you.
I look at hundreds of watches a week, and I only buy maybe a dozen.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a coincidence that these watches are good. It takes a discriminated palate.
Yeah. Very fine palate.
Right.
Where would I get these watches?
You would, if in theory.
Yeah.
Theoretical.
Yeah.
Theoretical.
Yeah.
If you were looking for a vintage watch, particularly from Rolex or Omega. You would go over to the Theo and Harris Watch Shop, which is a watch shop that I have no personal affiliation with. None.
Finish that thought. I had a horrible revelation.
What was that?
These are incredible watches, but what if I don't like the strap it comes on? And what if I need to travel?
If you don't, oh my God! If you don't listen to me, pal.
What?
Listen, pal of mine.
What could you possibly say to make me feel better?
Listen, I'm gonna make you feel better in 2 seconds.
Okay.
If you don't like the strap these watches come on, the strap shop at theoandharris.com.
Oh, you're kidding.
Solves all your problems.
I don't even have to walk anywhere.
Wait, are you a professional man that needs to travel for a living?
Yes.
I got travel rolls.
No, you're kidding me.
2 different variations. The entire Theo and Harris retail shop is fantastic. Vintage watches, leather goods, from all over the world, from France, from America, and from Italy.
Yeah.
And it's funny how that's my entire world. From all over the world. From 3 Western nations that I have personal ties to.
All over the globe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, I highly recommend you guys check it out.
Me too.
I love it.
The final topic that I have to explain first, so it makes more sense. Why Rolex will never be as valuable. Modern Rolex will never be as valuable as vintage Rolex. And I don't necessarily mean monetarily or anything like that, because prices have skyrocketed.
Yeah, you mean existentially.
Yeah, the life of them. I don't ever see there being another Paul Newman watch, because there's not another Paul Newman. Because of the way Hollywood was like... What? You're taking it literally?
Wait, you mean to tell me Paul Newman's dead?
I know you see him. I know you see him on the dressing thing every day.
Listen to me.
I can't hear you.
And I mean this.
Yeah.
I mean this. I will not have another sip of alcohol.
Oh, I know.
Until Paul Newman is dead and buried.
He died last week. So basically, since the entire Hollywood structure changed, there won't be another like Paul Newman style watch. Do you know what I mean? Like there's big flashy diamond Rolexes now that like a lot of rappers are. Oh my god, we are really gonna trudge through the mess of this. What's happening right now is that we're on a van and we're going somewhere, and you keep getting out, and then we only go like a half a mile, and you say you have no idea where you're going.
Where are you going?
I'm going.
Tell me.
Okay.
So you've never been a Hollywood star like Paul Newman?
Right.
Paul Newman's dead, right?
Right. So sorry to tell you. Paul Newman's dead, but the entire culture of like the Hollywood star, like these are casted, they belong to this network or that network, is also gone. Like now there's tons of stars, tons of content, there's different forms of content. So it devalues like the Paul Newman watch if there was a modern day Paul Newman. Yeah. Like who's the big, like a Brad Pitt watch, will that ever do what a Paul Newman watch does?
No. Right. You're right. And I think that the explanation, I think you're close to it. I think it's I think you're close. I think you're onto something. I do. Yeah. I think it's really complex, and I don't even think that even if we sat down for a while, we could totally explain it.
Yeah.
But. And I'm not familiar with Paul Newman's entire filmography, nor am I familiar with Humphrey Bogart's entire filmography, but or a lot of these classic actors.
Yeah.
But what happened a lot of the time with these guys is, at least in when we look back in history, these guys are remembered for a lot of roles, but fundamentally similar roles to the point where they had an iconic character.
Right.
Humphrey Bogart was always a smooth talking like man, right? Whether you're talking about Diamonds from Sierra Madre, in which he was a nut job, but still he was Humphrey Bogart. It's hard to explain. It's very hard.
What's interesting actually is following that, everybody like had their specific role. Hollywood in general also had rules per each actor. Like Paul Newman came with a set of instructions on how to film his eyes.
Yes. I think it's archetypes. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Hollywood had archetypes years ago, and ultimately you built a legend off of it, right? Whereas today, you've got these guys. I don't know, Brad Pitt, whoever, and I don't know. They're more. Not to say that Paul Newman wasn't as versatile an actor as Brad Pitt or George Clooney, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was different styles and everything.
They didn't do it.
Right.
You've got a wide range of characters, whatever.
Right.
Also, now that we're living through these guys, we're not just living through, in retrospect, their highlights.
Right.
That's a big thing, too. So I don't know about that.
And what's interesting is if you were a star and you were always this action star, like this cowboy star, and then I was your agent and I protected you from the world, so people only saw that and only like little appearances of you walking by, like tipping your hat, people would think he's that guy. That's way cooler. Paul Newman's cool. He does that.
Today, the only archetypes we have are these, super machismo archetypes like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone. And those guys, while cool, I don't really think people are going to pay big premiums for their watches.
I can't see it. Yeah,
I don't. I mean, in fact, Stallone right now has a big auction with Phillips that I don't think is going to do that well.
Well, what's interesting because they're the farthest version of just like they don't have that like refinement that a lot of like Paul Newman, Humphrey Bogart, and everybody has, where they're just like cool dudes.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. But for a lot of reasons, Rolex will never be what it was. I mean, it's also like they were figuring it out then.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
the
what I wrote
original
here.
Explorer.
Yeah.
Would you write it before I said it? Now it's like a big deal.
The original Explorer. Did you write it before I said it? Now it's like a big deal. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's you were. What history has Rolex truly written in the last 20 years?
And what's interesting there is even if they write more history, I feel like we're at a point where like, well, yeah, of course the watch survived. It's perfect. Back then it was just like this will go up to Mount Everest. But the guy brought 2 watches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Sir Edmund Hillary, if there was a modern day version of that, would bring 1 Rolex. He wouldn't have a backup watch.
Well, to bring up another subject to the film, I mean, to the live, Corey Richards did the climb of Mount Everest. He didn't get to the top, but Did he climb Mount Everest? And he failed to get to the top, I believe, because of weather. It wasn't because of him.
Right.
With Vacheron Constantin for charity, I believe. And they made a one-off VC for him, which was purchased by a collector. And I believe they paid $110,000, or maybe with change, with premium, something like that, 106, 110. And now they've just spun off that one watch into a limited collection of chronograph and also dual time. But the point I'm trying to illustrate is there are so few instances of brands truly, doing anything of human interest.
It's very true.
Who cares that someone wore a Bulgari to the red carpet?
Yeah, right.
Who cares?
Yeah, right. Because inherently, who cares about the red carpet?
I don't care about your opinions. I don't care about the watch you're wearing. I think that on a level, it makes. I'm biased. I try to be. I try to be a third party, but I know I have biases. When I see, let's say, Idris Elba, for instance. Now he's a bad example. I like him already. But let's say I see an actor, Benicio del Toro.
Okay, sure.
Someone who I have virtually no. I mean, I don't care about him very much.
Right.
He wore a Bulgari Octo Finissimo a year ago or two on the red carpet, and I said. It was a little naive of me. Of course, he was paid to wear that, or at least probably he was.
You're right.
But I said to myself, "Oh, that's kind of a cool watch choice. I might get along with him."
Okay.
So, but it endeared me to Benicio del Toro. It didn't endear me to Bulgari.
True.
And I know that would be tangential and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think I really don't think that we're going to see much coming from watch brands so far as. Being interesting or appealing to our fundamental human interest to explore, to I don't know, to do a lot.
Yeah. I mean, everything's getting perfected. And you're just like, cool, yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's just for rich folks. It's just
that's true.
Meanwhile, they're so dumb because the buyers, the rich folk, they want to be Paul Newman. They don't want to be them.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Not cool.
Yeah, right.
Making $42 million in plastics isn't cool.
Right.
Being Paul Newman is cool.
Right.
Being Bogart is cool. I mean, in Casablanca, he was he wasn't broke, but basically, he wasn't broke, but he's an everyman with a bar and a good tux.
Yeah.
And yet everyone wants to be him.
Right.
So the brands no longer get it.
Yeah. Anyways, Rolls-Royce
of wine?
Coming right up, sir.
Rolly! All right, and he is back! Rolly! Give it to him, come on. Stupid. For those of you guys who aren't familiar, this is my dad, Rolly, and we started a series called Liquor Run on YouTube years ago. Geez, probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
That's right.
And we've recently brought it back into our live segments. So, Dad, welcome back. Thank you for coming on. What's on your wrist?
Merci. GMT Master 2.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Is that new?
Beautiful. This one's not new.
Did you get the call lately from Rolex? That's lovely.
Yes.
Tell everyone what mom paid for that watch.
$3,800.
$3,800 in 2005. Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yep. Fall of 2005.
I'm not wearing a watch that is mine. I'm wearing a Datejust reference 1600. So this is a Paipan dial. It's a silver dial, but it's flat, so it looks white. Silver bezel. Love this watch. What do you think of that dial?
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, isn't it?
Very clean. Yeah, I love the strap with it, too.
Yeah, blue strap.
Nice.
Very, very nice. This watch is available in the Theo and Harris watch shop, along with a whole host of other vintage watches. Not that one, though.
No, not yet.
Not ever. Bad night in Vegas betting on Long Island High School lacrosse. Call me up, like, yo, I need $12,000. I'm like, that, I'll give it to you now. I gotta sell the watch. I'm embarrassed. That's funny. Great. So, what are we drinking today? And let's get into some anecdotes and some silly shit.
Let's get into silly shit. French wines.
French.
Paul Bordeaux,
Yeah.
and in Burgundy,
Yep.
Bourgogne. Yeah.
So the two wines, what are they?
So this is a Bordeaux from Saint-Emilion, okay, and this one is Chateau Bertinat Lagartigue. Okay, small producer here, lovely wine from.
And geographically, where is that located in France?
It's the south of Paris and into the east.
Okay.
Okay, but
Gotcha.
still more. I would say I think more north than where Burgundy would be.
Okay.
But don't kill me, guys. You know. And then there's this. This is Côte de Brouilly.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and lovely wine.
Yep.
And this is Gamay. This is a Beaujolais.
Gotcha.
Okay, and this is the only area. Technically, this is part of Burgundy, but the only area where Gamay is allowed to be grown to make the wine within Burgundy. Everything it's going to be Pinot Noir or Chardonnay.
So now both of these wines represent a lot of value to you. You think that these wines are highly recommended, drinkable, beyond
spectacular because of the price.
Yep.
Okay, and the quality. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
great.
And
So
both have really nice stories.
Which of the two are we going to be drinking?
Let's go Gamay.
Let's do it.
Right now, the seasons have changed. Right, we're gonna eat heartier food.
Yep.
I think both wines, this guy especially, kills it for roasts and stews and meats that are going to be that are going into the oven but we're not doing that right now.
Yep.
So I don't know if it does it so much justice. It's going to be very dry.
Yep.
But this one I think can.
Yep.
This will do it just nicely.
Enough yapping, more drinking.
Less yapping, more drinking. So here we are. I love the label too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So what's interesting?
But before we get into it, when did you? We haven't really talked about this so much on Liquor Run, but obviously you got into wine in your mid to late 20s. Then you started reading about wine and studying wine more when in your 30s.
I would say in my 30s, yes. I think I may have mentioned this in the past. My love of wine really began with my career, my pharmaceutical career.
Right.
I was entertaining a lot of physicians, going out to some great restaurants in Manhattan, and but I was always deferring the list to someone else who wasn't paying the tab. But I was always fascinated with how they knew the list and how to navigate the list. That intrigued me, and I liked what I was drinking with my food. And so that began the journey.
It didn't hurt that you were drinking wine that you probably couldn't have afforded
and
otherwise.
I couldn't have afforded the wine that I was drinking at the time.
Which is kind of cool. I mean, you're in we said you're in this unique position to be entertaining people for a lot of business.
Yeah.
And you were eating food and drinking wine and being a regular at restaurants that you otherwise wouldn't have been at.
Exactly.
That's so cool. I mean, it's so unique and just, it's
one of the most incredible moments. I actually have two really distinct moments in wine-related moments or transformative moments in my life. Number one, I was eating at the Picholine by Lincoln Center, and the doctor I was with knew the restaurant well, and so he knew that they always had some gems tucked in that were not on the list. So we're getting ready to order, and what would you like to drink? And he said, "What else do you have that's not on the list?" And the waiter said, "Well, I've got a 1979 Grand Chasseau." Wow, it was an epiphany. It's like, what this is Pinot Noir like you've never. I had never ever tried it. I didn't have much Pinot Noir prior to that moment. But I said, my God, this was beautiful. What elegance,
like a religious moment.
A religious moment. And then my other one was at a restaurant, Aureole on the Upper East Side, with the same doctor, and we had a Corton Charlemagne, white Burgundy, the same thing. I said, my God, what is this? Chardonnay. but what Chardonnay? Incredible. And that's what really just turned me on to it. I said, this is a lifelong quest. I know very little about wine, but I love learning about it, and I love drinking it and sharing the moments.
Here's Salud. But before we get into, I want you to tell some stories as well. Rolly's got some great stories. Obviously, if you haven't already caught on, whether you're an old Liquor Run fan, in which we need no explanation, or you're a new viewer to this kind of miniseries, there's so much parallel between kind of your journey into wine and journey into watches, and the same thing goes for other complex things, cars, et cetera, et cetera. You really can't get into it unless you are the type of person that is very humbled by their ignorance, and then inspired to continue to be better and smarter about it, because it's very, very intimidating. A lot of people, really these are hobbies of inquisitive and humble men. Now there are a lot of egotistic assholes in the hobbies as well, but in a way, you kind of. I mean, hey, listen, there are ways to go about it either way, but a lot of folks that I know, they're in watches and they're in wine, good folks, share common ground in that they're just interested in learning more about this thing, and they know that they know so little. It's very, Socratic. That's just so cool to me. It always interested me. And even now, when I'll go out to drinks with some people that know a lot about wine, that at least in my book, they know a lot about wine, they'll say, geez, I don't know the first thing about this region, and please, you tell me, meaning speaking to a Somm. And that's just so cool. You never sound smarter than when you behave like that. Okay, second,
you never want to be the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, exactly right. The doctor that you were talking about, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Obviously, we're not going to say his name, but we got some good stories about the doc.
Yes.
Right? We got at least a couple. As long as we don't disclose his name, why not? Let's tell some funny stories.
So, so this doctor.
Make up a name. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, right.
Doctor. Roger
Kilgore.
Roger Kilgore. Dr. Roger Kilgore. If that's not a porno name, I don't know what is.
So he studied in Rome, University of Rome, medical school.
Wow,
and,
that's good wine.
It's delicious wine.
This is a gift from a friend, Salvatore.
Yes,
Cheers to
right.
Salvatore.
Thank you, Salvatore. He spent a lot of time in Rome, and was a New York, New Jersey guy. He needed money.
Rolly then went on to tell the least YouTube appropriate story you could possibly tell.
That is so up.
Here you go, Roger Kilgore.
Roger Kilgore, here's to you, pal. L'chaim, man.
Another classic story. We were having dinner at Union Square Cafe in Manhattan, and he brings his girlfriend, and it was all at the time you could bring significant others to dinner, and it was okay. So he shows up with his new girlfriend. She sits down. We're a party of 8, 4 couples. Mom was one of the people there. Yep. And she sits down. The young lady sits down. We're all cheers, cheers, cheers. So you're at the table. We've got a bowl of olives. We've got a bowl of pits.
Now, these are very meaty olives.
Very meaty olives. And it's that what you're supposed to go after. I'm not going after a pit when I got these chunky olives on the table. She saw it the other way. She said, I'm going after those pits.
But she didn't realize.
She said hello, and she puts 1 pit. 2 pits. 3 pits. She's got 3 pits in her mouth that we've all chewed through. And every other person at the table is looking at what the heck is going on? And how is she going to make believe? How's she going to make this look kosher?
Right. How are you going to start pulling multiple pits?
She did it just for her. She just pulled them right out and put them right back where they belong.
How sick, right? But he used to. This was not a lovely. She was kind of right?
A little bit, yeah.
But that's what happens.
That's what happens. Right.
How about the time that you went out? You took. My dad took one of our cousins out for dinner for Christmas or whatever, and he brought some I mean, really not fantastic, person, whatever. Not a high, not even, I'm saying not high class, not even a decent human being, just a real sewer rat, and she started ordering like all these extravagant things, right?
Oh,
And she spoke Spanish, so my dad speaks Spanish, so she's trying to order this incredible full fish at the table, and what did you yell at her? What did you tell her?
I said, they're not serving that fish tonight.
Yeah, but you said in Spanish. Yeah, what'd you say?
No están sirviendo ese pescado esta noche.
So then my cousin, he's thinking like, I wonder what Rolly just said.
The gift was his. It was his Christmas gift.
Meanwhile, you've got this other date
now
ordering
I've got
hundreds of dollars in food.
Right. It's not on my dime. That was a funny moment. But I had to step up and I had to draw the line.
Oh, she was the worst.
That was the worst. Yeah.
Well, the funny story with her was with the she was Puerto Rican, right?
Yes.
And shout out to all of our Puerto Rican
Absolutely.
fans.
I'll be there first week of November.
Oh,
San
very
Juan,
exciting.
Bayamon, Ponce, coming after you.
Very exciting. So in Puerto Rico, I think it's called a cryptoid, right? Like the Jersey Devil or like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But there's a Puerto Rican cryptoid called chupacabra, and the chupacabra is like some sort of a bat dragon that sucks goat. No, that sucks the blood of the goats.
Yeah.
So we're all hanging out and late at night and we're drinking and she's sloshed. I mean, This woman is gone. We don't even know her. We don't even know this person. She's gone. So she goes, I didn't like you guys before, so I wouldn't tell you this, but in my town there's a goat sucker on chupacabra, and someone starts laughing and she goes, don't laugh, it's not funny. It killed all my goats. And we're like, oh, you kidding me, right? So she insisted that this thing was real, to the point where we all had to kind of agree with her that the chupacabra was real,
absolutely real.
And then she went on to say that Poppy looks too dumb to be a surgeon.
That's right. She insulted him.
Yeah, we told my grandfather was drinking grappa, and she said, "Have another shot."
He said, I have to do surgery tomorrow morning.
Yeah, he goes, "I have surgery tomorrow,
but I'm gonna have a shot."
I'm gonna have a shot. And she goes, "You're going under the knife?" And he's like, "No, I'm a doctor. I'm a surgeon." My grandfather's an 82-year-old, Italian guy. He's clearly not a doctor. The age is really more the problem with him being a surgeon. Right. So she goes, "You're not a doctor," and he says, "I'm sorry." She goes, "You don't look so smart to be a doctor." Saying this to
you look simple.
Yeah, you look too simple to be a doctor. Like, how do you say that?
True story.
To the head of the table. Anyway, this wine's good, man.
This is absolutely delicious.
And this is the new liquor run. We're just telling stories.
Gamay. It's such an underrated grape.
Yeah.
When it's done right, it is absolutely beautiful. It even has that Burgundian elegance to it. Yeah. It's got such nice polish, right? What's nice about Brouilly is one of the communes, the 10 communes within Beaujolais. Okay, there's 10 different districts. And Beaujolais Nouveau, that's the one that
I was going to say, this is almost nothing in common.
The antithesis, right?
Nothing in common.
And in many ways, Beaujolais Nouveau did more harm to the area. While it raised the profile of the name Beaujolais, it also hurt the area.
Right, it associated the bread
with bubblegum, tasting wine.
Well, it's not just that. It was just more affordable wine, right? So it gets look at Seiko Gran Seiko.
Yeah,
to this day, a lot of people see Gran Seiko and they say, "Oh, that's Seiko."
Right.
Meanwhile, it couldn't be more the opposite. Gran Seiko and Seiko have virtually no overlap, and the overlap they do have is generally that Seiko stole it.
Right.
But not the point. But it's name association.
That's a wonderful analogy, and that's exactly what has happened to Beaujolais. They've worked really, really hard. There was a point after the heyday, the Beaujolais Nouveau heyday, that these poor negociants or these winemakers, they were selling their wine off, their beautiful wine off for fuel, or they were just burning it. The government was buying it and it's getting rid of it because they couldn't sell it because of the Beaujolais Nouveau phenomenon. Wow. Meanwhile, you've got these wonderful wines that, frankly, at the highest level, at the upper limit of cost, right? $30.
Right.
For, anywhere between $18 to $25, $27, you're drinking beautiful wines.
I would buy this wine in a
This
second.
is a fantastic bottle of wine, and show it to everyone. Go out, get familiar with Beaujolais, Brouilly, Saint Amour, Morgon. They are fantastic. Fleury.
Yeah.
They are beautiful wines. So that's my pitch for Beaujolais.
And,
You're going to drink
and
really
this
well.
is another good example of a French wine. What's the price range on this?
This one is
Similar?
about $20.
So $20.
$20.
And you know, obviously we haven't had it yet.
Yeah.
But crib notes. We're gonna have it with heavy meat.
We're gonna have it, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely braised
So
meat.
this time
yeah.
of the year, maybe for Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
I know what you guys eat for Thanksgiving.
Fantastic. I'm gonna put it. You know what? We're gonna make some oxtail stew.
Nice.
We're gonna braise oxtails and some wine, reduced tomato sauce.
One of my dad's favorite
There you
things to
go.
do is he knows a lot about international cuisine, and not like from like the countries that like everyone knows, like Italy and France, but he knows like the weirdest things from what is like oxtail. It reminded me of oxtail.
Yeah.
Gladys, where was she from?
She was from Haiti.
So patients eat oxtail, correct?
Yes.
So anyway, one of the ways that he bridges like the cultural gap between people is he'll shout out like what they eat, and he'll tell them about his experience and how much he loves it. And Gladys, for one, was like, "Oh my God, we're best friends now."
That's right.
You know? And the same. Remember last week with the gooey duck?
Oh, that's right.
That was so.
That's
fun.
right.
Except Sam did it and it didn't work. So my buddy had a call with where's gooey duck from?
Waterzooey.
Oh, what's gooey duck?
Gooey duck is clam.
It's clam.
It's a giant.
Oh no! Waterzooey.
Pull it out. Waterzooey.
Waterzooey.
But gooey duck is the thing.
Gooey duck's the thing
It's
too.
a giant clam from Seattle.
Gosh.
You pull it out and it shoots water at you.
Shoots water at you. Waterzooey is from where?
From Belgium.
It's from Belgium. So my buddy, we're out one night, we're having a drink, and my buddy goes, "Oh, I got a call with somebody from Belgium tomorrow morning. I gotta go." My dad goes, "Belgium? That's funny." When you're on your call, in order to, in a way to bridge the gap, the cultural gap, to cozy up real nice, would be to reference your affinity for Waterzooey. And my buddy, who's a lovely, lovely man, very trusting, says, "Okay, yeah." So the next morning, she's like, "Hello, good morning," and he goes, "Hello, good morning. My name's Sam. I'm gonna sell you X, Y, and Z. By the way, I see you're from Belgium, and I have to tell you, I love Waterzooey." And she goes, "What?" What? He must have been pronouncing it wrong. So he had to, first of all, the amount of time it took, he had to Google it, screen share it with her just to show her. And then she goes, "Oh, that's disgusting. Why do you like that?" So he was just like, "Oh, I'll just go myself. Thanks, roll." So he texted the group and he was like, "Hey guys, I didn't close the sale. Thank you for the recommendation on how to bridge the cultural gap." Guys, I love you all. Subscribe to our channel at Theo and Harris if you like watches. If you'd like to see another liquor run in the next couple of weeks, comment down below. Rolly, thank you so much for being back. I love you.
Love you too.
And
happy to be back.
I have some more work to do, but
be
when
back
I
next
get,
week.
I'm going to stop over at the house, at your house, and I'm going to probably finish this bottle with you.
That sounds great.
All right. Salud, guys.
Salud. Cheers.